Hello, everyone, and welcome to the November 2019 Devolved Elections Results Night. I am Weebrew on behalf of Sky News and The Guardian. I'll be presenting today with the results, which should come in at about 2 minutes past 7. We're here for about 7 minutes or so with the pre-show, a little bit of a kind of chill, get everything, make sure nothing's breaking, talk to some people. Actually, I already have someone with me, joining me in the studio right now is the First Minister of Wales and leader of the Welsh Liberal Alliance, vitiating. How are you, Vit?
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going great, thank you.
Are you nervous?
Yes,
Any nerves? No, maybe not
yeah,
gonna say.
well, there's always those election nerves, aren't there? I mean, you know yourself. You've led
One elections, yes.
you've led your share election, so there's always those election nerves. But I'm very confident that the Welsh Liberal Alliance will do well tonight.
How is the audio for everyone in the chat? The 8 million of you that have joined us this evening. How are the audio? I'm going to put on some background music. This is a test for this election. I was about to say stream, but this isn't a stream. This is a fully fledged multi
TV show, yeah,
broadcast.
indeed.
Uh,
Streaming out to every home in the United Kingdom.
got some no copyright lo-fi hip hop.
Oh dear. Ooh.
Yeah, very
Getting down the
fancy.
cork.
It's great. So yeah, everyone let us know how the audio is. If I need to turn the music up, if... Anyway.
On Twitter there's someone saying, some English voice is hurting my ears. Lovely. But yes. Well. Election!
Yeah. We got a great show tonight. Woo! You can't hear the music, I just realised.
But no, it should go well tonight. You know,
Turn the music up.
Sky News has always done very consistently good programming for the coverage of the elections.
Oh, absolutely. Nothing's ever gone wrong.
Well, it's not gone maybe to plan, but it's always been of a very good stand.
Okay, so you're leader of Welsh Liberal Alliance. You have, let me take a look. You have 4 candidates standing. You're not standing in Mid and West Wales. What would be a good night for the Welsh Liberal Alliance in Wales today?
Yeah, I have every confidence that it will be good. Of course, we didn't stand in Mid and West, I believe, to make way for the Conservatives, because I believe that a good governance for the future of Wales relies on the inclusion of the Welsh Conservatives in the Senate.
So, would that be your preferred coalition if you don't get a majority tonight?
Certainly.
Why?
Because the work that the Welsh Conservatives and the Welsh Liberal Alliance have done this term has been extraordinary. We've made such good progress for Wales in the fact that we've pushed forward a budget and passed the budget, which has put forward budgetary changes that have made the everyday person in Wales better off. We've made sure that we are using money that has been paid through taxes, has been spent wisely, and we've just overall ensured fiscal responsibility. Whereas if you look at Labour, they're ensuring fiscal irresponsibility. Plaid Cymru is the same. Only the Welsh Liberal Alliance and the Welsh Conservatives can ensure that Wales remains prosperous for the next 50 years.
And so, if you were to say that there is like a main kind of focus of your campaign leading up to this election, is it some sort of kind of continuity, continuing the good work that you were doing last term?
Well, certainly, we've done extraordinary.
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying.
I was saying, oh yes, so what we've done great work this term, as I've said, but we want to continue that good work. We want to ensure that Wales has an environment that is sustainable, has an environment that is going to be fit for future generations. We want to ensure that Welsh steel is used first before any other kind of steel. We want to ensure that we don't mindlessly devolve for the sake of devolution. We want to ensure that the powers that the Welsh Parliament has, it's common sense that we are best suited to legislate upon that, rather than it best being suited to Westminster to legislate upon.
That's fair enough. If you're just joining us, welcome to the live results for the devolved elections. A couple of announcements to make. First of all, thank you very much to Zygark, who provided the lovely graphics that we will be seeing throughout this about hour of programming. Nothing too long today. And also, if you want a updated live website with graphics, charts, and I believe coalition makers, you can check out either Stormont, Senedd, or Holyrood.lizelta.live. That's the legislator, so Holyrood, Stormont, Senedd.lizelta.live. I'm not going to read that out. Yes, I'm here with the First Minister of Wales and leader of the Welsh Liberal Alliance. Okay, now, justice in the Commons. You've been known throughout your tenure as Justice Secretary, and so on and so forth. You're recently, in fact this term, I've seen a couple of bills from you coming through the Lords and through the Commons regarding justice. So when you see your fellow coalition partners in the House of Commons, looking to remove the QC title, what's your reaction to that?
Of course, the Liberal Democrats are at liberty to put forward certain legislative proposals. I don't agree with them. In fact, the whole country is very, very well versed in my staunch opposition, and some might say even violent opposition to the legal titles deprivation bill. But the Liberal Democrats and I still work very well together. I have very good relations with the leadership of the Liberal Democrats, and that's what matters. This legislative proposal will not get in the way of our relationship.
That's fair enough. Okay, so you talked about the Conservatives, working with the Conservatives in Wales. Now, obviously, Wales is not the only country that's going to the polls, or has been to the polls. We've also got Northern Ireland, and we've also got Scotland. In Northern Ireland, the Alliance Party is something that both you and the Liberal Democrats, Classical Liberals and Liberal Democrats, work very closely on. Do you expect a good night in Northern Ireland?
Well, I certainly hope for a good night in Northern Ireland. I haven't necessarily paid much close attention to the Northern Ireland election. Of course, my attention has been to Wales. However, I have every confidence that Alliance will pull through and will continue to govern for the best interests of the people of Northern Ireland.
And in Scotland, a similar coalition with yourselves and the Conservatives, with First Minister Dunk's 11. Again, probably not been playing close attention. You've been busy on the streets of Wales, I'm sure, and also in the Lords and Commons. Busy. But expecting another stint at Butte House with Dunks?
Well, I'm certainly hoping that my good friend will be remaining in Butte House after tonight. I think the cool kids say "clip strong" or something of that ilk.
Dear. And going to the campaign, is there any notable campaigns that come to mind throughout this devolved election stint that spring to mind? Filling me with confidence already.
No, I don't. I'm going to be honest. I as soon as the campaign, my Cuddler Fluffy event in Wales was quite fun. I loved cuddling the fluffies. You know, the dogs, all the doggos. That stood out in my mind.
All right, let's. Our first result will be at 4 minutes past. It will be in Scotland. Not sure how similar the schedule is to last time. The schedule is different from last time, although the amount of seats corresponding to the lists in Scotland should be the same. So, for example, towards the end, I believe Strathclyde and the Borders was the one that got announced first, and then Highlands and Islands. So it should be around the same kind of format as last time. Obviously, last time we did not have the Wales, I think? Or was Scotland? One of those two we didn't have when I was with Will Shakespeare. But our first result will be in Scotland in about a minute's time. Okay,
Strong and stable government with classical liberals.
oh dear, what a night we have in store. Okay, let's look at some guests. Who can we bring in?
Somebody.
It's great because I don't need to fill the silence because there's music in the background.
Exactly. But the funny thing is the list of guests are all juxtaposed to me.
Making this up as we go along, but don't you worry.
Let's do a guest thing.
I was looking to see if we could get the Welsh Labour leader on.
Oh dear.
So please welcome to the show. Oh wait, hold on. Welsh Labour leader Emma, but we have a result. In Angus, Perth and Stirling, our first result is the absolute landslide, with Dunks 11 getting 307,742 votes compared to Labour's HK Norman with 68,000. That is a huge majority of about 238,000 votes. Hello Emma, how are you doing?
Yeah.
That's a bit disappointing, isn't it?
I mean, it was to be expected. Let's be
I
honest.
admit, disappointing. Speak for yourself. I'm entirely ecstatic at that result.
Well, when you brainwash a whole populace, that's what happens.
What nonsense! You don't brainwash you.
So okay, you got already the fireworks are starting. So yeah, big landslide there for the First Minister of Scotland, as to be expected. Okay, our next result will be in the lovely country of Wales in about a minute's time.
Wales.
Oh,
What?
that'd be fun.
Sorry, yeah, about a minute's time. Okay, so Emma, what would be a good night for Welsh Labour?
More seats than the previous election.
Yes,
Obviously.
that's a fair assessment, don't you think?
I think that's a solid goal.
Where are some of the constituencies to look out for? I think North Wales springs to mind.
Southwest Wales is probably one to look out for,
South
because I would really like to retain my seat
That
and
makes
my
sense.
salary.
I don't really know what to say about it. You know, good luck, but
Oh, that's
Money.
nice.
Civil Alliance.
Money is good, you see. So
Money is good. See.
Alright,
Just
let's
looking for the
bring
money.
out our next result. In South Central Wales, the Walker Life for the Welsh Liberal Alliance has picked up the first seat for them in Wales with a 192,686 votes. Second place, Cthulhu is Cool for the Libertarian Party of Wales with 117,000 votes. So that's the first seat in Scotland going to the Classical
Wow.
Liberals, the second seat going to the first seat in Wales going to the Welsh Liberal Alliance.
I'd like to point something out here, though, before you analyses this as a result.
Go for it.
Clearly, South Central Wales and the beautiful Cardiff Bay, which is funny because Bay is spelled B-A-E in Welsh.
We're all bays here.
That's a pop culture reference there. Getting rather hot. This is basically South Central Wales trying to say that they want a Liberal member of the Assembly. I am very sad that JGM0228 sounds like a robotic name. Surely they're not. I know them; they're a lovely person, but they're not a robot. It was didn't win. Campaigned hard, tried hard, passionate about South Central Wales, but clearly not their night.
Percentages for this result in South Central Wales. Welsh Liberal Alliance at 45%, Labour at 22.3%, and LPUK at 27.7%. Our next result will be Northern Ireland's first round in about 10 seconds time.
Very good. I like first rounds.
Here we are.
So,
In Northern Ireland, we have one elected MLA, which is the leader of the IPP, a broken hero, with 95,099 votes.
There it is.
not so
And yeah, this is the same as last time. The first Welsh election, we saw the IPP get their seat first.
Well, it's not just that. It's that the IPP is a very very dedicated to Northern Ireland.
Dedicated amount of dedicated lamb.
Yes, and this shows.
Yeah, good result there for the IPP. At top candidates, Esteban 06, Count Brandenburg, Lady Stardust, Sing Song, all for the Alliance. Emma, LPNI not even in the top candidates.
Well, this is because this party is just not performing. However, I would like to say that once again they're also dedicated and trying, but to be another party in Northern Ireland, as you know from when I was leader of the party, amongst other things I've done in my lifetime, I tabled a nationalist platform for the party, and it was rejected by the party, and this shows that nationalism is good.
What? Okay, our next result will be in Scotland. We're looking to get that in about 30 seconds. Oh,
That's not
dear.
okay. I didn't mean that. That's not what I meant. I'm very tired. Okay.
Bloody hell.
Nationalist parties.
We're gonna have to interrupt you because we have a result, a massive result for the Green Party in Scotland and in Lanarkshire. MG9500, the former First Minister, getting 383,245 votes. Backstar for the Classical Liberals in second place with 93,560 votes. Let me get the percentages.
I don't think you need those.
Well, this well and truly proves that Scotland doesn't love United, doesn't it? Really.
Yes. The percentages in Lanarkshire, Greens are on 76.6%, Classical Liberals on 18.7%, and for the Angus Perth and Stirling, Dunk's got 81%, Labour on 18%. So two huge results, massive landslides.
I think you mean huge.
Huge. I'm not Bernie Sanders. Alright, our next result will be also in Scotland, in the largest city, Glasgow.
Jesus.
That'll be in about 1
Someone
minute.
expecting a
time.
Wales.
These sixth formers are running very fast, or what do you call them in Scotland? Seventh yearers or whatever.
Sixth
Advanced.
years.
Sixth years.
S6 is the last year of high school in Scotland.
Did not know. Never been to. Actually, I've been to Scotland once. Midges. That's all I have to say about Scotland. Midges.
I think that this election is going to be a stepping stone for changes in the next election, where parties are kind of vying to get, support bases for the next election. As we see so far, the trend is that there's been a lot of holding seats and not actually gaining seats, but towards the end you never know. Never mind, we've got a result coming in. In Glasgow, Sanic Ice Cream Sandwich 401 with another huge majority for the Greens, 338,053, with Joe Phillips second place, 90,731.
Not being
Huge.
funny, but did either of these people try?
Who knows? Glasgow 73.4% for the Greens, 19.7% for the Classical Liberals.
Another another very nationalist candidate wins. It's a bit like Star Wars, isn't it, really? You've got Dunks the Empire, and then you've got kind of ice cream sandwich fights back here.
As Weeber pointed out, quite rightly,
Sonic!
this has been holding rather than any wins.
I'm very sad to
Deadly.
see
Deadly.
Sunrise candidates
Magic.
go up against each other. Apart from this one. This one isn't Sunrise, but Joe should have done better.
Sonic,
Magic.
you've absolutely swept your seat. How do you feel?
Never in doubt, mate.
Never in doubt. Our next
Never
result
in
will
doubt.
be the second round in Northern Ireland. That will be in about a minute's time.
Why is Wales a poorer relation in this counting? Are Welsh people just inherently slower?
Yes. You get it all.
There's only been one Welsh result. Getting very anxious here.
Sonic, what do you think of Dunks' performance during last term as the First Minister for the Classical Liberals?
What else can you say about it?
Outland.
Awful.
Awful. Why?
No bills, no budget.
No ball.
They did submit a budget though, didn't they?
Well, they didn't, did they?
Yeah.
There's a difference though, isn't there, between like submitting something and passing something? Like you can submit an exam and
Yeah.
still fail it.
Panicking at the last minute and quickly passing in a budget
Our
isn't the
next
same as
result-
passing one.
Is in Northern Ireland. Round 2, we have another IPP MLA elected. Answer me now.
Yes.
Quota 73,926.
Come on, the boys.
Well, I think they got their answer, didn't they? And it's off to
Border poll now.
dormant they go.
Border poll now.
I agree. I mean, what? Sorry. I mean, I
Right.
agree that that's a good result.
Fantastic.
I don't want a border poll for the record.
But you've
Um,
got quiet. What's up, man?
Are we finally getting another Welsh result?
Welsh result will be in 2 minutes' time.
This is what I'm here for.
Exactly. But anyway, I have full confidence that the Classical Liberals will once again triumph in Scotland over the divisive nationalist agenda.
Nah.
Do you mean the classical liberals of Scotland?
Independence.
Some high
You-
quality debate we have here on Sky News.
Can I just say?
I'm not here to do good quality debate. I leave that for the Senate. And
Already,
Can I-
the IPP have increased their number of elected MLAs by one.
Back in my day, right? Back in my day, this would not have been the case. Politics has changed.
A reminder that you can catch live updates and graphs on Holyrood or Senate or stormont.lizelta.live.
How do you do that? I'm trying to do it.
Wow,
on
those
the studio on
websites
my
are
phone.
sexy.
I have just seen a tweet from Paul Rand saying the Greens are peddlers of fake patter. I don't even know what patter means, but I'm
I do not see
Yeah, it
this
says
tweet.
a lot. Says a lot, doesn't
These
it?
tweets are fake. You're making these tweets up. They would not.
Yeah.
See how these are not fake tweets.
We have a result from Wales. In southeast
Ooh.
Wales, Vitiating,
bloody
the
hell.
First Minister, has held the seat of southeast Wales, 168,907 votes to Plaid Cymru's 112,918 votes.
Ooh,
I would just like to
that's quite close, isn't it?
Secretary
That's quite close.
Salami on doing very well there. Not as well as we'd hoped, but
Vitiating, before you go, you've just won your seat. Any closing thoughts tonight before the results continue to fly in?
And they said that, South East Wales didn't want the Welsh Liberal Alliance candidate, and South East Wales has proven them wrong. So,
well, those of voting age and those that turned out to vote.
well, I'm sorry, but results are results, and
For someone who's so dogophile, I don't really think you've taken in the dog vote here. If I'm
Okay,
honest.
thank you for joining us, Vitiating, and good luck for the rest of the election.
thank you.
Right, our next result will be in Scotland. That'll
Hooray.
be in about 30 seconds' time. So that was a good result there for the Welsh Liberal Alliance, currently on 2. Vitiating increased the share of their vote by 5% up till 35%, I believe. So that's a good result for the First Minister there. Although, there's only like 50,000 or so votes in it. You never know.
That's quite close.
Alright, let's get our next result in... Shall we
Scotland.
go ahead of the text screen? Yeah, let's go ahead. Fuck them.
Wow.
Oh my god, they did it anyway. The absolute mad lads. In Highlands and Islands, the Classical Liberals have picked up the former Lib Dem seat, Hidden VDV 96, or I can't even pronounce that name, 270,000 votes, and Alweguim 110,000 votes. Close one, but yeah, Liberal Democrats were endorsed by the Greens and some other parties last time. They won by a very slim majority. This time, relatively comfortable. We also have a recount requested in North Wales.
Have we
Drama
got
this
a North
early.
Wales result?
Wow.
To be honest, I mean, we're like almost halfway through already.
What is the North Wales result?
I'm not going to tell you. I mean, we don't know. People are still counting. It's a request for a recount.
What was it before?
It was Highlands and Islands with the Classical Liberals winning.
No, the North Wales. I do not know.
Who held it before?
Yeah.
Let me get that for you now. Was Welsh Liberal
Come on,
Alliance.
have this.
I've got
Have
it!
this ready.
Welsh
Don't.
Liberal Alliance!
Very unprofessional.
44%, I believe. Yeah, so they had a decent 70,000 votes, and this time there's a recount. Scary stuff.
Where is that castle?
North Wales?
You're very. Is it Carmarthen Castle?
I have no idea.
Oh,
Again, want to thank
Did you
Zygarde
not
for
know
the
this?
graphics. It wasn't me!
Funnily enough, no. Did you know if you click on the recycling button on your browser, you get the page again, but more updated? Isn't that clever?
Yes.
What?
The recycling
Hey.
button.
You mean the reload button or the refresh button?
Is that what it's called? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Anyway, we
Yes.
have another result. In Dumbarton and Renfrew, Sam IRL for Labour has narrowly beat, well not narrowly, 50,000 votes, beat Friedmanite 19 in Dumbarton and Renfrew.
Well done,
That's-
Sam. Well done, Sam.
Oh, we got a bias panel here for the
Well done.
watermelon candidate.
Sam is a dedicated candidate in the Unionist Party. I don't know why Sanek is clapping.
I
because
like Sam.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Well, I mean,
Sam sent.
Greens, in order to get into Butte House again, will probably need the help of Labour. That's pretty much guaranteed.
That's probably a
Absolutely, I absolutely agree. That is brilliant, though. Well done, Sam.
much
And
better
we
than
will
the
be
other
able
guy.
to bring Sam in, but we're going to have to say goodbye to one of you. So, Emma, thanks very much for joining us.
Oh,
Oh, well.
Heartbreaking.
punted.
And we have
Brutal.
the candidate for the Barton and Renfrew, now elected, MSP. Sam, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well, actually. Thank you, Weeper.
You happy with the result?
Incredibly pleased. Honoured that the people of Dumbarton have placed their trust in me once more, and I am excited to serve another term in the Scottish Parliament.
So, in Westminster, Labour is kind of working with the Sunrise Group, with Classical Liberals and the Liberal Democrats. Would you expect something like that to happen in Holyrood, or is the Scottish Labour Party more kind of towards the Greens?
Well, I don't think that it's a real equivalency between Westminster and Scottish politics. I think that certainly in Scotland, the Classical Liberals are, I feel, more keen to work with right-wing parties, and I think naturally we wouldn't be as aligned with them as we are in Westminster right now. Obviously, I do get on really well with the Classical Liberals and the Liberal Democrats, and I think that the Scottish Labour leader does as well. But I I think we'd be open to work with any party that was willing to share our values in forming government and governing in the interests of the Scottish people. But I would not say that it would be as easy for us to form a coalition with the classical Liberals in Scotland as it is in Westminster.
That's fair enough. We have a result in Northern Ireland. We're now into round 10 of the count in Northern Ireland, and a ton of candidates have been excluded. 3 Northern Ireland reformists have been excluded. DUP candidate Control Alt Lama has been excluded. 2 UUPs, Millie and Matthew Hinton, and the Alliance member MPFL have all been excluded. Bunch of people excluded there. No one met the quota of 71,000, so we will keep on going. Our next result will be in Scotland again in about a minute's time. Whew. So how are we looking right now? Labour are on 1, Greens are on what, 2, Classical Liberals are on 2. So it's all to play for in Scotland. Northern Ireland, we're just getting started really. We've got tons of candidates to go, and in Wales, it's looking good for the Welsh Liberal Alliance. All to play for here, and again, I wonder how much you guys would agree with this. It seems like this election, a lot of holding seats, so maybe this is building up bases for the next election. What do you guys think about that?
I'm not really sure how correct that is. I think that I particularly am optimistic that Scottish Labour will gain seats in this election. I don't see the Scottish Liberal Democrats, certainly, and potentially Scottish Conservatives as well, holding all of the seats that they had been elected on at the last election. So I think that there are still, in the results to come, we will see more change occurring.
Well, speaking of results to come, the former First Minister, Al, has held Fife and the Forth Valley in a narrow 32,000 or 26,000 majority. 26,000? Yeah, that works out. Good job there for Al. Coming up against close opposition there with only one candidate, Zygarde, for the Scottish Conservatives. So that puts the Greens ahead of the Classical Liberals now. I wonder how much will change. I mean, you talked about the Scottish Liberal Democrats there, Sam. They haven't stood any candidates this election for the first past the post seats, which is just, I mean, to be fair, they only stood 2 last time, but what can you say? So it's a good result for the Greens, 3-2 there, 3-1 actually, if you include Labour. Our
The
next
First
result.
Minister's just won his seat, but yeah.
Hey, already calling him First Minister. I like it. Our next result will be another Scottish one in about a minute's time. Right, let's bring in another guest. We have the... Hold on. Let me get this right. Don't want to mess this up. We have the member of the Democratic Reformist Front standing in Mid and West Wales, Pootis Power. Poot, how you doing? Poot, you with us?
Apologies, I forgot my microphone is set to push to talk. I am alright, thank you.
Good to hear. Obviously a bit upsetting the result in Northern Ireland. 3 of your colleagues have been excluded. Actually, we'll get your thoughts on that in a second. We have the result in Ayrshire, where the LPUK have held Ayrshire in Stano with 185,944 seats to MHoC for the Scottish Labour Party, 174,412. That's a majority of about 11,500 votes. Now, quickly, before we come to you, Boot, Dumbarton and Renfrew and Ayrshire, for 2 elections in a row, maybe even 3, have only had the LPUK and Labour stand, which is really, really interesting. Both seats were held this time round, so all to play for there, very, very close seats. But yes, that puts the LPUK on 1 seat. Pootis, what DRF have been standing, I think this is their first time in the devolved elections. What do voters have to expect if they elect a DRF candidate in one of these 3 countries?
The deletion of the monarchy. Now, but for real, obviously republicanism, but it actually, okay, so the thing is, we've got slight regional differentiation on the policies. For Wales, you're expecting more liberal, left-wing policies. In Scotland, we've got rail nationalisation, but not full-on Green Party private healthcare can go die in the fire strategies.
Where'd we had that? That's shocking.
Northern Ireland referendum on the union. No, that doesn't mean we're nationalists or unionists. We just want a referendum on the union.
Well put. Our next result is in Mid and West Wales. That'll be in about 30 seconds time. In fact, I'm going to jump ahead and bring you that now, just to get a little edge on Geordie. In Mid and West Wales, the leader of Plaid Cymru, Victor HR, has won the seat of Mid and West Wales, 168,660 votes. I love how you have horses in every race, Sonic. Check my brain of the Welsh Conservatives.
My pal's getting elected, that's all it is.
Oh, that's nice. Put us there, unfortunately, in last place, but again, first time standing, so what do you expect? Victor is joining us, hopefully, in a couple of seconds in the studio. Sorry, Jordy. Victor, are you with us? You're muted for now. We'll get you in a second. But yes, that's Plaid picking up their first seat in Wales. Victor, how's it going? Victor? You're talking, but I think you're muted still. We'll come back to you in a second. Our next result will be in Northern Ireland for our next round there. Alright, Sanic, thanks a lot for joining us. If you're to give us a prediction, before you go, if you're to give us a prediction in Scotland, what will it be?
I can't really say the exact seats, but all I know is Al will be back in Butte House, and that's the most important thing.
Thanks a lot.
Don't know if you have the facilities for that, big man.
Facilities for that? What do you mean? It's all up in the air, you know. They're ahead of the Classical Liberals now, so we'll wait to see.
And I thought that SDP would be a major part of Sunrise, but we saw how that ended, didn't we?
That's a big thing in Scotland, especially. Both the SDP, SDP, and the Scottish Liberal Democrats had supply and competence to supply arrangements with the government. So that's a big deal that none of them are standing there.
I think the fact that the Scottish Social Democrats and the Scottish Liberal Democrats entered a confidence and supply agreement, that really did shock me last term, but I am confident that I think that these results will see Scotland shift more towards a leftist policy.
Damn it, Jordy. Alright, our next result is in Northern Ireland, round 14. We have 3 excluded candidates. I believe there's a mistake. I just spotted the third member is not Control Atlama, it's the other LPNI candidate, so apologies for that. But yeah, 2 LPNI candidates have been excluded and 1 UUP in exchange for Board Nerdy Gamer meeting the quota.
If I may, Weebrew, I'm not sure that Siraj R4084 is...
No, he's RNI.
Yeah.
I see.
You okay there, Weebrew? Are you shouting at the graphics team?
Let me tell you what it should be. Yeah, round 12 and 13 should have 2.
Reagan is also an RNI, so
Okay, shh. 2 candidates for the Labour Party of Northern Ireland have been excluded, and 1 candidate for the UUP have been excluded. That's what's happened. The names are wrong, but the people have been excluded. And the elected MLA as of round 14, yes, is the LPNI candidate. We'll get confirmation on exactly who that is after. Apologies for that.
I am very pleased with BNG being elected to the Northern Ireland Assembly, and I'm glad to see Rich T. Biscuit at the top of the candidates still in the running.
Okay, sorry, the excluded candidates, clearly invisible for the UUP, David Johansson for the LPNI, and JGM 0228 for the LPNI.
And I think that BNG's done a fantastic job since taking the LPNI over, and I am excited. I think that they've definitely got the momentum behind them now, and they'll do certainly very well in the next election.
Our next result is in the Borders, last time had many candidates standing, this time only 2. The Scottish Conservatives picking that one up by a majority of 9,000. The Scottish Conservatives leader, Paul Rand, 183,448 votes, against Umaton's 174,000 votes for the Scottish Labour Party. So that puts the Classical Liberal Conservative government on 3, the Greens and Labour on 4, and the LPUK on 1. Victor, are you with us? Still can't hear you on my end, Victor. I don't know if that's...
That's the same for me.
Yeah. Hopefully get back to you soon. Don't know if it's like a mic muted or something, but we'll get that sorted out. In the meantime, our next result will be in Scotland again. It will be, I believe, the capital city of Edinburgh. Yeah, that was a close result there. Majority of 9,000 is the closest result we have seen in Scotland. Very, very close. Okay, who can we get in?
I think Yuma certainly campaigned hard in that seat, and it's disappointing to lose, especially by such a close amount. But I think we've been making progress certainly in Scotland, and I think by the next election to the Scottish Parliament, we will be seeing dividends paid from our hard campaigning this term.
I mean, the big difference, it seems, was the endorsements, but we'll come back to that in a second. Because we have the result in Edinburgh. The Scottish Greens deputy leader, Wired Cookie, won, holding Edinburgh, my former seat, 249,849 votes to the Conservatives' 203,000 votes. So there's a majority of about 46,000. Good win there for Jimmy.
Looks like a vote split between the LPUK and Conservatives there.
Yeah, that would have made it just a Scottish Conservative win.
But then that would meant I would have had to listen to British ATIS in more than one parliament, and quite frankly, I don't want that.
Okay, we're going to say thank you very much to both Putis and Sam for joining us. You both have been excellent. Perhaps we'll... Bye,
Thank you for having me, Weaver. It's been
anytime. And we are joined, hopefully, by 3 new faces. We have the leader of Plaid Cymru, Victor. How you doing? Still not working. And we have the deputy leader who's just held his seat in Edinburgh, Jimmy. How you doing?
You fucking love to see it.
And we have the lovely RHT Biscuit of the Labour Party. How you doing?
Alright, lad.
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm coming up from my tea in Aberdeen with you. You did offer me.
Are they trying to speak in that Morse code?
Who?
What's that meant to mean?
Jimmy.
I saw all the meal deals paid off.
Oh, I have been having a lot of fun today.
How are you finding the music in the background if you were following the stream?
Sorry.
I am not on the stream.
That was, to be fair, you're in the studio, so you can't really blame you. We have another result coming in about 10 seconds or so. That will be in Wales. Victor, any luck? No, I don't think so.
46,000.
I have my fingers
fucking
crossed
great.
that they'll get those technical issues sorted out.
Tory and LPK get. Chase yourselves.
Alright, our next result is in South West Wales. We have the Conservatives gaining from Welsh Labour. Grijatis of the Welsh Conservatives with 196,419 votes against Epona Corca, who we just spoke to, Emma, 182,000 votes. The first major gain in Wales with a slim majority of 14,000. Very, very close. Final try for Victor. Are you with us, Victor? No. God damn.
Okay. Hopefully this works now.
Hey, how you doing? I can hear you now.
Hello, not Saida. Thank you.
My
Finally.
good friend.
I'm good.
Finally.
You
All
have
the boys
held
are
your
here.
Seat. All the boys are here. You've held your seat, Victor. How do you feel?
Well, it's a game. It's not a hold. I think you got something wrong there. But yeah, it's a applied game from the
Shut up,
Tories.
Sky News.
Yeah, it's a surprising. Well, not surprising. I knew I was gonna gain it, but it's an interesting swing from the Tories to Plaid. I don't know what the Tories
see it.
or the Alliance can read out of it, but Nat Gov.
Mid and West Wales was indeed again from the Welsh Conservatives. That was probably on the sheet. I just assumed that you had held it because you were leader before. Fair enough. Big deal there. So that's our second gain of the night in South West Wales, which puts the Welsh Conservatives and Welsh Liberal Alliance at 3 and Plaid on 1. Our next result will be... it will be the second to last Northern Ireland round. We'll be bringing you that shortly.
Did the issue over Northern Ireland get fixed?
Yes, so let me clarify. No, let's not. Let's bring you results instead. In Strathclyde and the Borders, that's... yeah, Strathclyde and the Borders, we have the list results. 1 for the Greens, 1 for the Classical Liberals, and 1 for Scottish Labour, 1 for the Libertarian Party. Hold on 1 second. That we're all good. Yes, so that's 4 list seats there for Strathclyde and the Borders. 1 Green, 1 Classical Liberal, 1 Labour, 1 Libertarian. We also have in Northern Ireland the 15th round, which sees the DUP leader Elliott excluded. I believe the DUP leader, I think I'm right in saying that, has been excluded, which means there's going to be a massive final round. It's all to play for the final round in Northern Ireland. Okay, let me take a look here. So that was...
So can you just go through the Labour, the Northern Ireland seats?
Yes, let me clarify. So the counter is correct. IPP are on 2, Labour Party are on 1. However, clearly invisible of the UUP, David Johansen of the Labour Party and JGM of the Labour Party were excluded last round. There was a mistake in the names, but they were correct parties. So yeah, 1 UUP and 2 LPNIs were excluded. And now we have the DUP excluded, which will mean, yeah, as I say, a big final round in Northern Ireland.
And did I get in?
You're still your top candidate, you're second to top. So you'll be in contention in the final round.
Oh, it's waiting here.
Our next result will be in North Wales, where we had this recount. Here it comes. The Welsh Liberal Alliance have held with a majority of under 400 votes.
I can confirm that I didn't organise the recount there.
Headed VDV96, 154,437, and Gregor of Plaid, 154,045 votes. So really the big players there were the Welsh Reformists, the Welsh Conservatives and the Libertarian Party of Wales, because they all had smaller results but they cut off the possible majority there. Big deal there. Huge
Isn't
result.
the Welsh Liberal candidate there the foreign sec?
I believe so, yes. Yes, that's correct.
My good friend there.
Close result there for Plaid Cymru looking to get their second seat. Victor, unfortunate.
Let me just say the soundbite there just for a second. That just proves that every vote counts.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Oh, sure.
You say I shut up.
Enough with the
It's
sound
definitely
bites.
a disappointment. I just want to say it because it definitely was one of our top targets. I'd maybe say even above Mid-West Wales because we were second there. While in Mid-West Wales we were third last time. We were second, I think. Not close. So it is disappointing, but oh well.
Let me get you some percentages.
We'll get them next.
Jimmy, your seat in Edinburgh. Let me get the right results. Yes, Edinburgh. You were on 49.8% of the vote. So that's compared to the 40.5% of the Conservatives. Where else did we have results in? We had results in the Borders, which has 51.3% for the Conservatives and 48.7% for Labour. In Wales, we have this result. North Wales is 39.4% and Plaid Cymru is 39.3%. But we have more results. In Aberdeen, oh wait, this is the Wales list. Sorry, these are mixed up. In Wales, Welsh Labour have got 2 lists. Plaid Cymru have 1, and the Libertarian Party have 1. So Wales, big changes there. 2 for Labour, 1 for Plaid, and 1 for Libertarians. And also, in Aberdeen, we have the Classical Liberal leader, and I guess deputy leader in Scotland, I don't know how they organise that, Tommy One Boys, holding Aberdeen 171,535 votes to JGM's 123,000 votes. Close one, but
Aberdeen is close to my heart because that's where I ran. I've run there twice, and I come third every time.
Well, at least Labour have got second this time. So let's go over that one more time, just because I had to skip by the list votes. List seats. So we have 1 for Plaid, 2 for Labour, and 1 for the LP UK. Big deal for Welsh Labour there. Puts them 2 seats. Could change the tide of the government. Who knows? And yes, let's get your percentages for Aberdeen. In Aberdeen, Classical Liberals are on 46.8% and Labour on 33.7%. The other result I was going to give you was the Borders, 51.3, 48.7. And in Wales we had, I can't remember the result, so I'm going to skip it.
I think in Wales that puts Labour in a pretty strong negotiating position for the coalition talks.
Absolutely, it could be, we could end up with Labour Plaid, we could end up again with we could actually end up with a Welsh Liberal Alliance, Welsh Conservatives, Welsh Libertarian Party coalition, but who knows. We have the final round in Northern Ireland. RHT Biscuit, you have made the quota and have been elected as MLA. However, we have 4 UUP and 3 Alliance. That is it in Northern Ireland, I believe. Yeah, it is.
So I'm in now.
You're in now. You're in with your fellow LPNI candidate. So that's a small but significant change. That 1 IPP seat means that the UUP are only the largest party by 1 seat. Obviously, with the whole power sharing communities thing, they're going to have to work together anyway, we know that. But big changes there. So we have the UUP leader, obviously. We have Zygarde, Gravity Cat, and Check My Brain. We also have yourself, RHT Biscuit, and then we also have the 3 Alliance members, Dylan, Count Brandenburg, and Lady Stardust Sing Song. So that's it for Northern Ireland.
Aren't they still in the alliance?
Who?
Lady Stardust.
Yes, I think so. According to this, let me check the candidates just in case.
Because it wasn't that Trev.
Sure. Says Alliance here.
That was Trevor.
Yeah, because that was Trev's account, and then they've left and they've become a Tory Lord.
So
Trev,
it'll be distributed still to the Alliance Party if things have changed since the result, I think.
Oh, it's like someone's like, oh, is Trev like messing up the executive again?
I did not actually know that was Trev, to be fair, so we'll wait and see what happens there. But it is 3 seats for the 3 MLAs for the Alliance Party there. That's it for Northern Ireland. We have
I was in Derry, and I think that was my karaoke singing in Derry that won it.
Yeah, literally, we have our last result, which is the list seats for the last Scotland list, Highlands, Tayside and Fife, and that's it. We had the Wales list, so that was Wales done. Let's take a look at the final result. Highlands, Tayside and Fife gives us the final results in Scotland. The Scottish Greens on 1 list seat, Classical Liberals on 1, Labour on 1, and the Scottish Conservatives on 2. Which means that the Classical Liberals will need either Labour or the LP UK to maintain their position in Butte House. It's not looking good for the Greens, with only 8 combined with Labour, and Lib Dems on 0 because they stood no candidates and got no lists. That's it. So that went so quickly. Holy crap! Everything.
I've got to find out if I got on the Scottish list now.
Yeah. That's up to you. That's up to your party, I think, in Scotland. So be interested.
I'll be ringing. I'll be ringing Yuma's office then.
Yeah, for the 2 seats there. So let's give you the final graphics. Oh, this is lovely. Look at this. All 3 in one picture, so I don't need to scroll between them like last time. In Wales, the Welsh Liberal Alliance have 3 Plaid Cymru have 2, which is the numbers there to the left of the big one is first past the post seats and list seats, I believe. So 3 first past the post seats for Liberal Alliance, 1 first past the post and 1 list for Plaid, 2 seats for Welsh Labour, 1 seat for Welsh Conservatives and 1 seat for Libertarian Party of Wales. In Scotland, it's 6 for the Greens, 5 for the Clibs, 3 for Labour, 3 for the Scottish Conservatives and the LP UK on 2. So that's fairly different compared, since there was 2 seats that needed to be changing. The final results page is apparently wrong in Northern Ireland. Yes, it should be 4 for the Ulster Unionists, 3 for the Alliance, 2 for Labour and 2 for the IPP.
I gotta say that's a good result for Labour and Northern Ireland, because there are people expecting us to get 1 seat, so we got 2, so that's 1 up.
Yeah, so minor changes, but because these are so small seats, the power shifts. I mean, in Wales, who knows, right? Because you could have, what, 4 seats between the Libs and Conservatives, so that's all up in the air. In Scotland, it's, you know, you're going to have to look at the Libertarian Party. It looks like actually for 2 of the 3 countries, the LP UK are kingsmakers. And in Northern Ireland, again, the results are slightly wrong there. It's 4 for the UUP, 3 for the Alliance, and 2 for both the IPP and Labour Party. So obviously the IPP have to be there and the UUP have to be there, but it'll be up to either Alliance Party with 3 or Labour Party.
Don't the LPUK say every man a king?
Yeah, so that's it. Literally, flowing in. We were done in like 44 minutes. Easy peasy. Alright, let's get some final thoughts from everyone. Jimmy, so it looks like the Scottish Greens may not be, although they're the largest party, may not be returned to Butte House. How does that make you feel?
We won't know until we...
That's true. I mean, the negotiations are all up in the air. Who knows? Things might break down and then you might have a minority government. Who knows? RHT Biscuit, you stood in Northern Ireland. You're the one of 2 candidates there. So will you be looking to be in the executive there for Northern Ireland?
We'll see how the negotiations go. I'm quite optimistic that we can sort something out. I've got to say,
yes,
the Scottish negotiations were much better when you were in the room as well.
Aww. And Victor in Wales, Plaid Cymru on 2. So comparing that to last time, Plaid are the same as last time. So how does that go for you guys?
It's a disappointment. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to form any government. But it's to get that a lot out of government, so everything's up in the air, definitely.
Sweet. Alright, let's bring in everyone else who's in the studio with us. If anyone else wants to join, feel free. That is literally it for our results. We are joined by the Labour Party member Mario Gog and the DRF who's joined us before, Putis. How are you guys doing?
Very well.
Yeah, I'm alright.
Awesome. So, Maro, is that how you say your name? Mario.
Maroyo Gog.
Maroyo Gog. I will mess that up every time, so apologies in advance. What do you make of the results across the 3 countries today?
I mean, I'm very disappointed to have lost in both the constituencies in which I was running, especially in Scotland, because it was very close and it was a key target. However, I'm very pleased that across the board Labour is making gains and we can make a difference for the citizens in all the 3 countries.
And Putis, obviously no seats for the DRF in any of the 3 areas, but it's probably a good start.
Yeah, I mean, Wales was slightly... Basically, the original plan was just to do Northern Ireland as the RNNI, but then Archism joined the DRF and basically kick-started the Wales branch themselves. So to get above the Conservative and Libertarian candidates in Archism's constituency was really well done, almost all there. So, well done. I mean, we didn't win, but let's be honest. half the DRF candidates were papers. We didn't expect to win.
Language.
Papers.
Paper candidates. Come on, weebs. You're a politician, you know this stuff.
You shouldn't say that about any of your candidates. That talks them down.
I'm talking about myself.
Aww.
No.
What was that? Sorry, Rich.
I have never run a paper in my life.
Alright, let's get a couple of percentages. We love percentages. In Wales.
Is the Prime Minister about to be summoned?
No, Prime Minister can't do this and run the country at the same time. That'd be terrible. Okay, so in North Wales we had the very narrow 394 seat majority, vote majority, 39.4 to 39.3%. In Mid and West Wales, played on 36%. In South West Wales, the Conservatives on 39%. South Central, the Liberal Alliance on 45%. South East, Liberal Alliance are on 35%. And then the list seats again, as you can see on the smaller numbers there on the left hand side of the Wales results. 1 for Plaid, 2 for Labour, and 1 for the LP Cymru. I almost said LP UK. Alright, Emma's back with us, the leader of Welsh Labour. You've got 2 seats, how's it going?
Well, the champagne is poured, the spliffs are out. I mean, the spliffs aren't out, but...
Ofcom.
No, it's legal, don't knock it.
It's legal, yeah.
Actually, no, it's been legalised.
It's legal.
For ages now, actually.
Thank you.
Depending on what MHoC time is.
Thank you.
Don't mention that.
Broken cannon twice now.
The police will be out your door if you mention MHoC time ever again.
It's a
Thank you.
1 seat gain for Welsh Labour, Emma. How's that?
Well, as a wise woman once said, every step is one taken slowly but surely.
Who said that? You?
Yes, that was me.
You called yourself a wise woman.
You would not do very well in the 100-meter sprint, would you?
Look, I don't even know who you are, if I'm honest.
Alright, fair play.
So you can shh. But everybody else I know, apart from Mario God, but he's in Labour.
I was one of.
He's your chief whip.
Yes, but
Yeah,
I
he's the one who comes into my office and starts poking me. You forgot to vote.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
don't
pretty
get
much.
that because I am a countess, so I get to
I
do
stood
what I
in
want.
Wales.
Yes, you did stand in Wales.
I mean, the reason the whip doesn't bother you is because if they do bother you too much, you'll just join another party.
Well, that's not known for me to do, is it? At
Oh,
all.
come on. In Labour, we love the whip.
I've never
How
been.
long were you Transport Secretary in the SDP for? I think it was less than a week.
Well, that's only a small part of my history. If you think the SDP is something like me moving to leave from the SDP is a big thing, then
I have I was a very good transport sec in the coalition government as well.
you should. Well, I'm better, so.
No, I annoyed the classical liberals by.
But I'm annoying my own
I think
party.
everybody annoys
Just-
the
just-
classical
just-
liberals.
No, I just wore a hat. And
I'm
I
annoying.
annoyed the
my-
classical liberals.
I'm annoying my own party, which is even better. That's a real Chad move, that is.
Okay. Lovely comments, as usual, from our illustrious
We're just reminiscing
guests.
about the Grand Coalition here.
Who remembers when I was in the NUP?
Anyway, we have an official comment from the Welsh Liberal Alliance, which says, official comment, the Welsh Liberal Alliance reigns eternal. Okay.
And Liberal Democrats
Calm
for
down,
4
Dickinson.
hours. That must be a record for being in a party. 4 hours. Actually, no, I was in the NUP last time. And One Love. Let's not forget One Love. And the Greens. Oh dear.
I don't even know what One Love is.
I apparently killed it, but I did not.
Well,
Just like you killed the assembly.
I didn't
I have
kill it,
always
didn't
been because that's just my home. And I was going. You were saying the Welsh Liberal Alliance statement, and it was going to be like a generic level fluff, is it?
Well, it was certainly spicy.
Oh, it's some rubbish from some pretentious person.
Don't talk about the
You've got the percentages, haven't you?
I do have the percentage, yes.
Can you just confirm something that my leader, Zany Draco, has informed me?
Informed you.
Apparently, in Scotland, 0.86% of the vote went to the DRF. We didn't run in Scotland.
Yeah, you can still pick up random list votes if you've been somewhat
People
active.
can write your name in a box.
I'm not sure whether I'm impressed or horrified.
No, I thought you said that. Can you inform us? And I was gonna use my defense sick powers, like call up, like, oh, can we intercept those messages?
I'm personally
759
Just
people.
listen to the conversation. You're literally in the room with us.
759 people
between
voted.
you and the leader.
759 people voted for the Scottish Reformist Front in the Highlands, Tayside and Fife list, which is 0.06%.
That's a lot of people.
No, it's not.
I mean,
Well, it is in Scotland. There's like 10 people that live there.
it's interesting.
Wow, Scotphobia. Watch out, Stan's going to come up and turn at your door with a ranger shirt on a bottle of Buckfast.
Buckfast is a good drink, and it's one of the best things to come out of
In fairness,
Scotland.
I don't know much
Did
about
you say?
things,
Did,
I
they,
dark
did,
fruits.
did you imply that Sanic was going to wear a Rangers shirt?
Oh God! Look, here's the thing. The only I don't.
No, I have.
I don't know much about Scotland. Okay, I've always.
Do you want to know who
I'm
the?
sorry, Sanic. Please don't hurt me.
Midges.
The list MSP.
The MSPs for Scotland.
Yeah, the two list seats. One will go to you, Matten, and one will go to JGM.
Oh, unlucky RHT Biscuit. So that's one to Umaton. So
I was in Aberdeen today, and I managed to throw a sponge at Umo. So
Didn't a
good
rich tea
things.
biscuit get a seat in the Northern Irish?
yes,
Well, then why would a rich tea biscuit want 2 seats? That's just greedy.
Yeah.
Okay.
so
I'm-
that is-
I'm
yeah,
a connoisseur of
JGM,
seats.
You Matten got the borders. JGM got the other list. So yeah. It's for everyone who may want to know.
speaking of Labour members, I think we have another one coming. JGM may be joining us in just a second.
it was a secret bedroom deal.
JGM, are you with us?
But hey,
Hello?
I don't kink shame.
Josh, how's
Hello?
it going?
Good. It's going
You
good.
was gonna be really upset when when she is.
Speaking
Like,
of
what
making
did you say?
people, speaking of making people upset,
Hello?
your wish is my command. Please welcome the leader of the Classical Liberals, Tommy Oneboy. How's it going, Tommy?
I am good.
Good.
How are you?
I'm great. We'll just make it public that you asked everyone to be kicked out except JGM. That's absolutely disgusting and unbeknownst of any leader of a party. We're
it's fine.
deeply
it's fine.
disappointed. So, you held your seat in Aberdeen. 5 seats for the Clibs. How did you feel?
I'm pretty happy. I've got to say, there was some areas where it was definitely close results where we'd like to have done better and we'd like to see our allies do better. But yeah, specifically for Scotland, I'm obviously extremely happy with Aberdeen, and I'm confident that we can keep Duncan Butte House.
And Josh, you're been named as a Labour lists for Scotland. That was announced to us by the
Yeah.
lovely and pristine and brilliant member who was with us earlier. What?
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, on you go.
No. What were we gonna ask?
I was gonna say you guys made an agreement. It was announced that you were gonna support the budget in exchange for a few things. I'm sure. Do you support the kind of informal working with the clubs in Scotland, or where's your position on the Classical Liberals in Scotland and Dunks as First Minister?
Well, I mean, as I made clear during the campaign, we agreed to support the budget written by the government of Scotland. It appears that no side has a majority at the moment, and I'm interested in seeing in what government gets into Holyrood.
What will be some of the things that you're asking for?
For the party, but I would be more than happy to give confidence and supply to our coalition with the Classical Liberals. I think it would be best for the people of Scotland if their work with the Libertarian Party wasn't required, and if that's what does it, then I'd support it.
Ah, interesting. Very tactical. Very tactical.
Yeah.
I was going to say, what was I going to say? I can't remember. Tommy, in Wales, although you weren't obviously heavily involved in Wales, but as the National Party leader, I'm sure you had fingers in all the pies. You guys are set to be, well, first of all, you're the largest party, but you're probably set to be retaining government there. Does it actually, talking more generally, does it kind of enthuse you, worry you? Are you content with possibly the Libertarians being kingsmakers in both Wales and Scotland?
Well, look, it's fair to say that myself and the Libertarians have some differences in policy on the national level. I don't think that's a secret. But look, on devolved levels, things are obviously different. Policies do vary on devolved levels, and if it means creating a stable government to work with the LP UK, as long as those policy differences can be overcome, then I'm confident that can be done, both in Wales and in Scotland as well.
You talked about stability. One thing that your opponents have accused you of in Westminster is lacking that same stability. What do you say to the people who say that leadership under Labour and classical Liberals is a tightrope? We had all these scandals months ago. Are things, looking good in Downing Street and in Whitehall for the government currently?
I mean, yeah, when I walk around Whitehall, people are feeling good. We're cracking on with our agenda. The opposition often spend their time in the chamber screaming and shouting about all sorts of things, but we're just going to get on with the job, and we're confident in the next election that people will see that we've done just that.
And
yeah, I disagree with nothing there. This is a good example of someone who I campaigned against and worked with on the Westminster level, and there's if governments didn't disagree with each other, they would be fairly boring governments. But we work through them, and I think we're doing fine nationally.
Right. So predictions then. Let's go through the entire studio. We're joined again by Emma and Rich Tea Biscuit, who have been forced in the studio, blindsided. I didn't even know.
Just a few beers. I decided just to come in.
I didn't even know you were able to get in. Anyway, let's. Because Studio 3 is the only locked one. Whoops. Anyway, predictions then for the governments. Let's go from top to bottom. So, Rich Tea Biscuit first. Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland. Obviously, Northern Ireland's going to be something to do with the UUP and the IPP. But let's hear your predictions.
Okay, my predictions in Wales. I think Welsh Liberal Alliance, Labour go at it again because it was quite
Welsh Liberal Alliance
successful
and
when I
Labour.
was Deputy First Minister. So,
Interesting.
just a self-plug there. And in Scotland, I could see something between the Greens and Labour, or classical Liberals and Labour, depending on how negotiations go. But I would say Greens and Labour just to kick Dunks out. And then in Northern Ireland, an alliance with Alliance.
An alliance with Alliance.
And Labour.
Josh, what about you? Predictions?
In Wales, I know the First Minister. We're famously friends who get along with no disagreements whatsoever. But on a serious note, I like the First Minister. I will be looking into whether or not I'd like to try to get the second list seat, but whether or not I'm in Wales or not, I'd support coalitioning with him. I see no issue why we couldn't. In Scotland, I can be perfectly honest. I don't think Greens and Labour have enough seats to get into government. So I would like to see some sort of deal between Labour and the classical Liberals, so they don't have to work with a fairly hard right party, but we shall see how that goes. In Northern Ireland, it's an executive I'm sure Labour would be happy to participate in, but obviously the main components will be Alliance and UUP.
Emma, what about yourself?
I would like to see, in Wales, I would like to see Labour Plaid and LP UK for a bit balanced, but obviously that won't happen, so we're stuck with Labour and Plaid. Me as First Minister in Wales, that would just be like the icing on the cake. That'd be fucking amazing.
These are predictions, not dreams.
Okay, in Northern Ireland, a border poll. Some sort of
Oh dear.
Alliance and Labour. In Scotland, anything that keeps Dunks outside of Butte House, really, to be honest.
Rubbish.
I mean, Labour, the Greens, and the LPUK nearly came together before before it was killed by Freed. One of the great tragedies of our time.
As a person, yes, he is one of the great tragedies.
Anyway, Curtis.
I think Weebrew was in the room as well, so he knows that the violin should start playing the sad music. When
I was in the room. That was hilarious.
In the room where it happened. That was meant to be a Hamilton reference. You uncultured swines.
No, I get it. It was not good.
I get it.
Putis, what about yourself for predictions? Wales, Scotland.
Hang on a second. I need to pull up the stream again. Oh, hang on. Okay, good. The graphics have changed. I mean, I'm not even going to touch Northern Ireland because I have no idea how that works.
Oh boy.
Look, I'm sorry. I'm from the northeast originally. You don't want my opinion on the Northern Ireland. Wales. I mean, it looks like it's going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if it was WLA, Conservative, LPC, but we'll see. It could still. Actually, no, it's probably going to be WLA, Conservatives and Libertarians.
Did you say Conservatives?
Oh my!
Oh my!
I said.
Anyway.
I'm feeling faint.
Anyway, what about in Scotland?
In Scotland, it's probably going to be green, and no, it's not going to be. Did I just say it almost? Apologies. Allow me to first think about what I'm going to say before I start saying things. I'm trying to make up for the fact that the DRF has completely failed this Devo election, but oh well. Classical Liberals, Conservatives, LPUK government. It's really obvious. There's no way the Greens and Labour can get into government this time, which means I suppose we have less sectarian to deal with.
Yeah.
And also,
Okay.
And Tommy, finally, Wales, Scotland.
Well, I think in Wales, my good friend Callum is definitely going to retain First Minister, possibly working with the Conservatives and probably the LPUK, but I wouldn't rule out working with Labour.
Don't crush my dreams, Tommy.
You know,
That was a backhanded slap from someone.
Maybe the leader of the Welsh Labour Party makes that hard, but there we are.
Wow.
In
Wow.
Scotland,
We didn't ask about what makes you hard. What? Sorry.
I'm very confident Scotland will retain Butte House working with the Tories. And again, probably the LPUK, but I wouldn't rule out working with Labour. In Northern Ireland, I'm not going to comment other than to wish everyone best of luck.
And thus, we have concluded.
I mean, don't the classical Liberals say that the LPUK are extremists?
Well,
It's
only on
fair
the
to
national
say-
level. In
it's
Scotland,
fair to
they're
say
a
on the
magically
national
different
level.
creature.
Oh, okay.
It's fair to stay on the national level.
And you
because
voted
policy
against
difference.
the alliance with me as Welsh Labour leader, and I think I'm very nice.
Can you riddle me this?
Oh, my goodness.
As the architect of railway privatisation in the UK, which is clearly not a socialist move and a club move, you're saying I make life difficult.
I would suggest that you're not the best person to work with the Welsh Liberal Alliance, or
Well,
generally
it's a
to be
shame that
involved
you're not
in
leader of either
No,
parties. So
I'm not.
your
I'm
voice
just
is
the
probably
leader
is
of
none
the
of
National
them.
Party.
Classical Liberals, but
Oh, are you? I thought Callum was. That shows how important your party was.
I mean, come on,
everyone's informed.
got to respect Cannon, the lawyer.
Anyway,
He's
so
a QC,
Tommy,
I'll have you know.
Tommy, I guess the
Not for
question
long.
for the Welsh Liberal shut up. Question for the Welsh Liberal Alliance and Classical Liberals is like, do they want to work with a more left-leaning party to have a bigger majority? I guess that's kind of the
Yes.
question.
Well, looking at Scotland, I got on really well with. I assume I don't know exactly who the MSP is going to be, but I get on well with quite well with Scottish Labour, and I would be happy to work with them if that is what it took. But you know, it goes without saying that we have more in common with the Scottish Conservatives, and in turn, they have more in common with the LPUK in Scotland.
Like making people
But look,
suffer.
I want to work with any party that's willing to pass the budget that I was pleased to kind of head the team to write, and Scottish Labour willing to do that, then I think we can talk.
I mean, you could do a budget from the opposition benches.
I don't think that's possible. but
I mean, Tommy, come on, we both won in Aberdeen in the past. So surely we can work something out.
I think Tommy would do very good on the opposition benches because he does talk a lot of rubbish.
Pleasure.
Always
Let's be honest,
entertaining.
Emma. I'm just gonna put it this way. If I roll my eyes any harder, I'd have a detached retina.
Well,
Oh,
you should
why
actually-
don't you do that then?
that doesn't really matter, does it? Because
Well-
no one actually knows who you are, so...
It's always entertaining, always fiery, always never miss action here on Sky News. I think that's about it for tonight. We've
Okay,
had
goodbye.
anyway, we've had some fantastic results in all three countries. Relatively small changes, but thank you. Relatively small changes, but a kind of ushering in of the new generation of politicians. A lot of first-time elected, first-time standing, first-time campaigning. A lot of holding seats and few gaining seats. Be interesting to see how this term plays out and how the coalitions form. But until next time, I've been Weebrew. I'll see you. I don't know. I don't know when I'll see you actually, because like I guess it'll be next election unless there's some massive,
Because Weebrew is resigning on air
controversy.
right now.
Resigning from what? I'm an independent. Anyway, we'll catch you guys later.